What is up?
Hey, how are you?
I am good. Hello to everybody in Facebook world and YouTube world. We are having a special podcast and interview tonight because we are interviewing Ben Albert from Fuel to Fire from Australia.
Hi, everyone.
We had to do some accommodations because of one hell of a time zone difference. And it is 8 p.m. here in Chicago, but in Australia, it's actually 11 a.m.
Yes.
on Monday.
Yes.
And there was a mix-up in time zones. So for everyone out there and the fans, we apologize. We thought we were a 14-hour difference. It turns out we were 15. So everything did get delayed an extra hour. So I hope we can have as many people as possible join us. And we will be replaying this throughout the week for those who didn't catch it because of the time zone difference. So we are more than happy to accommodate that. So moving on with that, Ben, how the hell are you, man?
I'm good. It's Monday morning, so as a musician, I don't like to get up early. So hey, that's all right. I can still get up early, but yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
I totally feel that. I'm not a musician, but I'm just not a morning person. It just doesn't happen for me.
No, I'm definitely not a morning person, but I have to be. So, my daughter's, I bring my daughter to school, but luckily she's on school holidays, so that's good.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. But, apart from that, I'm good. The weather's good. It's not summer anymore, thank God, because I hate Sydney summers.
Everyone bear with us. There are glitches occasionally, not just because of the fact that he is in Australia and I'm in Chicago, but sometimes a Wi-Fi connection can be a hell of a bitch, even here in the States, let alone the other side of the other side of the world. Well, kind of the other side. Just
sorry about that.
It is okay. So it is expected. If you do get kicked out for any reason, just log back in. I'll be right here just yakking away, waiting for you to come back in. So for those who don't know who I am speaking with, again, if you missed it, I am speaking with Ben Albert, and he's the singer of Fuel to Fire from Australia.
Yes.
Did you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure if there was a glitch. There might be a glitch here and there, and I understand that, so that's cool. Would you like to introduce, well, I just introduced you, but would you like to tell everyone who you are, what you're about, and who we're missing?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're missing 4 other members. It's just me today. But I founded the band in 2019, and then we recorded our debut EP in 2020 amidst the pandemic. So that's good, which a lot of bands did that too. And then we released that in March 2021. And then there was some more lockdowns here in Sydney. Pretty severe lockdowns, actually. And then in July, January this year, we started recording our second EP, which we will be released hopefully this month or next month. And,
and we're definitely going to talk about that. You guys started in 2019, and I mean, you started just before the pandemic hit, and you just found I know you went through a bunch of other musicians before you found your final lineup, and then just when you're ready to get going, boom, the pandemic hits. How did that affect you guys?
Well, it sort of didn't affect us. Towards the end of recording the EP, it did start affecting us. But during the recording, it didn't really affect us. We weren't in lockdowns then. So it really didn't affect our recording process and how much times we went in the studio.
That's good.
And that was really good because we really wanted to record our debut EP, which we did. And now we've recorded our second EP called Beneath the Surface.
Yes.
You're the first podcast, so I'm happy that you are the first podcast that I'm on for this year.
Oh yeah. See, that's the way it should be. Fuck yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So we got Ace who says, "Hey Ben and Fran, this is Ace from North Vancouver."
Yeah, right on. That's my good friend Ace. He's actually in a band too from North Vancouver.
Well, what's up, Ace? Nice to meet you, man. So it's really cool. We did have, other than some time zone issues, we had some connection issues, but we made it happen. I'm glad we did because it's, it can get chaotic sometimes, but we made it happen. So I'm glad we were able to go forward with this. Let's see, we got Rob from Concert Junkies out of New Jersey saying what's up.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Hello.
It's also he's also one of my partners, and I podcast
Really?
with him on his
Right
channel on Wednesdays. So yeah,
Oh,
definitely a
okay.
really cool guy.
Cool, right?
So okay, so now you guys you started releasing you started recording your first EP, and that was Balls to the Wall.
Yes. Yes.
How did that go? I mean, besides during the pandemic, I'm glad it didn't slow you down. You guys kept moving forward, but when you were able to finally start releasing that music, how did that go?
Well, it went pretty well. The only downside was, well, there was two downsides actually. During the recording of Balls to the Wall, our bass player left.
Oh wow!
He quit the band. So we were like, oh my god! And so I asked my lead guitarist, "Can you do the bass?" And then luckily we found a bass player during the recording. You know, that bass player left. We found another bass player, and then what happened was we released it in March. And our bass player that we got for the recording quit in January. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Shit.
Yeah.
So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. And I got to be honest with you. We've had most of our issues has been with bass players. I'm not saying all bass players are bad. I'm just saying the ones that we've met, they just stuffed us around. You know
what's funny is ironically here in the States, I've been, well, it doesn't matter where, but I've been seeing that drummers have been an issue lately. So, yeah. It happens, but it does happen. The turnover is unfortunately big, and some people just go a different direction or whatever the reasoning is, Yeah. But the band still kept moving forward. You guys kept pushing forward, and so you guys released Balls to the Wall in 2020, right? Or was it 2021, right?
2021, March 2021. Okay. Yes.
And there was 4 songs on that EP.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was your favorite?
Which one is my favorite? I love them all, but I've got Balls to the Wall and All Alone are my favorites. But then again, I do love the song I wrote for my mum who unfortunately passed away 11 years ago, and that's a song called Taken Too Soon. And there's 3 songs, but there's one acoustic version of Taken Too Soon, which I love. I love acoustic stuff. I love it.
You know what? It was amazing. I heard that song. I heard the acoustic. I'm like, dude, that's beautiful. It was beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I'm so sorry about your loss. There was a beautiful song, and the acoustic version was beautiful. It was awesome.
Thank you. We've actually, friend, we've never done that song. We've done the rock version, but we've never done the acoustic version. I'm like, guys, we've got to do the acoustic version.
Why not?
It will just make us. I think doing the acoustic version and then just hitting them again with a just up tempo rock song they'll just go, what?
You got to keep them on their toes. Do it.
Exactly. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Though that's something you definitely need to do when you guys hit that stage again. Just catch them off guard.
Absolutely.
Start banging some heads and be like, we're gonna step it down a bit, and then come back and just hit them hard again.
Yeah. That's exactly how I set up. You're right. That's how I set up the song list. Is we always start the set list with Balls to the Wall. We always start, and then we do those songs, and then we hit them with a few up tempo songs, and then we just slow it down, give them a chance to breathe. Then we hit them again, and then we end it with a song called Long Live Rock and Roll, which is actually on our second EP.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, let's see. So you got a few members who couldn't be present because it is still Monday and people do work,
Yes. Yes.
So would you like to give them a shout out and announce them to everyone?
Yeah. So we've got me. Well, me. I'm the lead singer, and I'm actually also the manager as well. So So and then we've got Clayton Kennedy. He's the lead guitarist. We've got Paul. He's the drummer, backing vocalist, and then we call him. His name is Cornelius, but we call him Grim. We've got him as the rhythm guitarist, and then we've got the newest member, Brett Collins, who joined about 7 months ago. He's the bass player and the backing vocalist.
And he better not leave. 3 times the charm, right? 3 times the charm. He's staying.
Well, you know what, Fran? I've got to tell you, I think he's our 7th bass player.
Really?
Can you believe that?
Shit.
in 3.5 years. I think he's our seventh bass player.
Lucky number 7 then?
Oh, yeah. Lucky number 7. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we've been through that many bass players. I'm just like, what is going on?
Wow. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's either they can't cut it or they're not right for your band, you know?
Right. And that's exactly it, friend. And I thought, you know what? My wife said, why don't you just play the bass and sing? And I was like thinking, I'm just going to be a Lemmy. And I'm like, I really just want to be a front man. I don't want to sit behind an instrument. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like, because originally FUEL2FIRE, when I started it in 2019, originally it was a 4-piece band, just one guitarist. But then, me and the lead guitarist started talking, going, I think we need a more fuller sound. So we looked for a rhythm guitarist and we found Grim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how's things been with Grim then? Has he been taken to it well?
Yeah, no, he's very good. He actually complements Clay's style a lot more than the other rhythm guitarists. And actually, yeah, he left as well. So I'm sorry, this is just going everywhere.
Right.
But we had a rhythm guitarist. He didn't work out with him, and then we found Grim, and he just complements Clay's style a lot more than the other rhythm guitarist did. So
that's good.
He's a great fit. Great fit.
That's good. Well, I'm glad you found him. And Grim, I'm glad you're killing it. The band, obviously, obviously you have his approval and the band's approval. So don't go anywhere. Lucky number 7.
Exactly.
Lucky number 7. And as Ace said, Ace also said, and I put it up there, he said, Brett is the 7th.
Ace knows because he's known me for about eight years. So yeah. So it is 7. Great. Thanks, Ace.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys aren't losing count. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. I know that would be scary. We lose.
Right. It'd be something to worry about then,
Exactly.
So tell me about the band name. What is the story behind the band's name, FUEL2FIRE?
Well, I came up with that, and me and my wife were sitting in a doctor's surgery, and when I was going, you know what, I need a name for the band, and I was just like going, and it's so hard. I got to admit, the hardest thing is finding a name for the band.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there, I was reading a magazine, and it said, I can't remember what I was reading about, but it said adding fuel to the fire. And I said, you know what? Fuel number 2 fire instead of fuel TO fire.
Right.
And then we both looked at each other and I said, that's the name of the band.
That's it. It clicked. I like that name because it's always a term that I always use, add fuel to that fire. Watch that bitch burn. Hell yeah.
That's it. Exactly.
It makes sense. I like it. I like the band name. It definitely makes sense.
Thank you, friend. Thank you. I love the band name. And a lot of people love the band name. Like, hey, don't you take that name.
It's too funny. So now you also write songs for the band, correct?
Yeah, I'm the only songwriter. Yeah, I write all the songs, all the lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah. And what are your inspirations for that? I know you guys are more inspired off of like 80s type music, correct?
Oh yeah.
So what are your favorites? What are some of your favorite 80s bands?
Oh well, my first vinyl record was Appetite for Destruction. So so definitely Guns N' Roses,
Mm-hmm.
Skid Row, Motley Crue, Metallica. Yeah. And then I started getting into, they don't like this term, but I'm going to call it the grunge era. Soundgarden, Nirvana. Yeah, I love Chris Cornell. But yeah, that's definitely inspired by 80s metal. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And then some 90s too. And those are all killer bands. You named like a shit ton that I just love. I mean, I'm very musically eclectic. So, all killer bands, amazing bands that definitely set the tone for today's music in a lot of ways,
Absolutely. Agree. Yeah. Agree.
Yeah. So you're the main songwriter. You wrote all the songs.
Yep. I write all the lyrics. Yep.
Now, did you know that you always wanted to be a singer, or was that something that just kind of happened?
I'm glad you asked that question because I didn't know. I used to sing, back when I was like 10 or 11, I used to just make up these silly little songs just to amuse my brothers and sisters, or my brother and sister. And then when I was about 16 or 17, I listened to Appetite for Destruction, like I was saying before. I heard Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine, and I started singing along, and I went, what? I couldn't sing like Axl, no, but I could hit all those. I could pretty much hit those notes. And then I just went, what? And I started listening to the rest of the album. I love it. It's my favorite album. And then from there, I just said, oh my God, I want to be a singer. So it was Axl Rose that inspired me to become a singer.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when did you start looking? When did the idea of starting a band come to you?
Well, I started the band back in 1990. It was about 16, 17 with my brother and a good friend from school. And that lasted about 4 years and then didn't work out. They all went their separate ways. And I just kept it going. I did some solo stuff. And then I basically have done original music all my life. I haven't really been in cover bands and stuff like that. So yeah, and then just kept it going. And as I say, long way to the top if you want to rock and roll, eh? There you go.
Yeah.
No truer words have been spoken.
Right. So that's, I mean, you discovered that at a young age. Now I'm very curious. I mean, given with the vocals of a lot of those artists from the 80s and the music, I mean, there's some high ass notes. Okay. Some really high notes. How did that work through puberty? I'm just saying.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because in school I used to sing around like at lunchtime and stuff like that, and people go, okay, shut up, you're singing too much. but I could sing, I Remember You, I could sing Sweet Child of Mine, I could sing all those high notes.
Yeah.
And I even stunned myself. I'm like, and then, I would get people say, when's your voice going to break? And I have to admit, nearly 30 something years later, knock on wood, it hasn't broken. So I didn't really go through puberty that much where it didn't affect my voice.
Really?
No.
Oh, wow. Yeah, mine's, I have a Franley voice. I don't know. I can sideline, bill collectors all day long with my voice. But so I mean, that's awesome. You discovered at a very young age, and you just kept going and pursued it. Now, is there any musicians in your family?
My sister used to be in a band, and like I said, my brother used to be the drummer of my first band, and then it was, my two younger brothers were the guitarist and the drummer. So I've got pretty musical family. They don't do it anymore. I'm the only one that's continued doing music, but pretty musical family. My dad was in a band. Yeah. Nice.
And you said you have a daughter, correct?
Yeah, I got a daughter and a son. Yeah.
And how old are your kids?
My son is 19. My daughter is 16, and she actually sings too.
That was my next question. Did either one of them pick up the family talent?
My daughter.
That is awesome. What kind of music does she sing?
Pop music. She's like, every time I sing, she goes, Dad, do you have to be so loud?
That is too funny. My daughter's a 180 too. My oldest, she's a metalhead like me. But but I'm eclectic. I'm very well-rounded musically. My little one, she's, my youngest one, she's 17. Hip hop and rap. And everyone's like, wait, what happened? I'm like, I started out that way, but then metal.
Well, yeah. I mean, and my son sings as well. But my daughter's taken to singing so well. She's just like, and I'm like, oh my God, like she's perfectly in pitch.
Yeah.
And she loves, stuff like, I don't know if you know, but she loves stuff like Little Mix, and she loves Camila Cabello, and all pop stuff.
Right. Well, maybe that's something she can look forward, look into for her future,
Absolutely.
So that's cool. Absolutely. Musical talent is going to run thick in that family. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's definitely a beautiful thing.
It
so you guys released the first EP. You kept that bitch rolling even through the COVID. That is awesome. It didn't affect you. Mm-hmm. And then you guys started recording into your second EP, which is Beneath the Surface.
Yes.
And what was the inspiration for that?
Well, the first song on the EP is called The Calm Before the Storm. Mm-hmm. And that song is basically about just everything that's happened in the world, all the fucking bullshit that's happened in the world in the last 2 years. And I feel like, and I always introduce the song like that. I always say, look, what's happened in the last 2 years is fucking bullshit. And I feel like this is just the beginning. And I do still feel that way. It's just the beginning. This is just the start. So
Right.
that's why I wrote The Calm Before the Storm. And then there's another song on the EP, a rock ballad called Beneath the Surface, and that's just about government corruption and everything to do with that sort of stuff.
Right.
But I didn't want to be too much of a political band, but I had to talk about what's happened in the world in the last 2.5 years.
Right. It's still real life, unfortunately. You know,
Exactly.
it's not just a matter of like one side versus the other. No, this is real life. This is not about which side you're on. This is happening to all of us, and people
Right.
need to wake up. It's not about left side, right side, who's right, who's wrong. In the end, we're the ones who are going to be dicked around,
Right.
and we're the ones who are going to get screwed with, and they're still going to do them. So.
And the thing is, and yeah, you're exactly right. And the thing is, left, right, whatever side you're on, right? I feel like they're just making us fight between ourselves.
Absolutely.
And some people just don't see that or refuse to see that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, come on.
They only want to believe what they're told. They don't want to. They want to believe what they're told. They don't want to admit what is happening. They don't want to see the truth. They just want to say, nope, everything's fine, and it's your fault.
Right.
It's not about pointing fingers.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the government was created. I don't want to go too political on this too, but I'm actually very, very political too. But I try not to go into it. But, you know, I mean, the government was created to divide us from day one. Hence, left versus right. And any way they can create to keep that going, they're going to do it.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. So it makes sense that you're making, that a lot of artists and a lot of musicians are writing music about the shit that's been going down the last few years. It does make sense.
Yeah. And that's where I like to write. A lot of my songs some of them come from personal experience, and a lot of them come from what I'm hearing in the world, what's happening, and I love to write songs. I don't want to write just about all doom and gloom, but I also want to talk about real issues that are going on. I don't want to just, no offense to Motley Crue. I love Motley Crue, but I don't want to just write about sex, drugs, rock and roll and partying and that sort of thing, but I do have a song on the EP called Long Live Rock and Roll, and that's just living the rock and roll lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah.
Which can go a lot further than just sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, that's just a normal part of it, but there's so much more to it. So much more.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
Absolutely. So now how many songs do you plan on having on this EP?
There's 6.
There's going to be 6?
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't wait till everyone hears it. And I'm going to send you a copy.
Beautiful.
And yeah, definitely there's 6 songs. There's one ballad. I've got to do a ballad. I love rock ballads. I love them. What can I say?
You know what? I got a soft side too. Believe it or not, I am calling my shit out. Yes, I do. I love 80s rock ballads. I'm huge on them. Huge.
Yes.
I am calling that shit out. I can jam out to Bon Jovi and then slam it with fucking Slayer and jump in that mosh pit like a motherfucker. I have no problem calling myself out.
Fucking, oh man, Fran, I fucking love that, because my first concert was Motley Crue back in '89, I think it was.
I was 10. But I didn't know who they were. I didn't know who Slayer was yet, but I was starting to head that way. I knew who Metallica and Pantera were, and Ozzy. I was already starting to head that direction.
Right. And I saw, Tommy Lee was like upside down. It's like that concert. Oh my God, man. That was just the shit.
Yeah.
And then, I went to Skid Row, and then, and then I went to Guns N' Roses. But yeah, I mean, I'm going off topic. Sorry about that. But yeah, I just love the rock and roll lifestyle. I just love going to shows and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the louder, the better, especially for me. I'm half deaf.
I think most musicians are.
You know what? I think a lot of us are, but mine wasn't from music. Everyone thinks it is. They're like, because you're always at shows, you're always there. And I'm like, no, it started happening from childhood. We don't know why. So I tell people I'm the granddaughter of Helen Keller because I'm half blind and half deaf. It will never get old. It's too funny. So now you got the EP. It's coming out, but what's the ETA on that?
Well, hopefully it will be released this month, or if not this month, early next month or mid next month.
Yeah, so coming soon.
coming soon. So it's all been mixed and mastered. It's all ready. I'm just finding a CD distributor here, so make the CD, and we've got our graphic designer that's done the artwork for it. So it's yeah, I'd say in another few weeks it'll be ready to be released.
And can you tell us what the first song is going to be off the EP?
Yes, The Calm Before the Storm.
It is going to be The Calm Before the Storm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I came up with all the songs in order, and I thought, you know what? The Calm Before the Storm has such a great punch to it. When the guitars come in, the drums and the bass and the vocals come in. So I thought, no, that's got to be the first song. And the last song on the EP, you're the first one that's going to know this outside of the band, is Long Live Rock and Roll.
I promise I won't tell anybody. Go ahead, tell me.
Don't tell anyone. Shh. But yeah, so Long Live Rock and Roll is the last song, and then on the CD, and then yeah, The Calm Before the Storm is the first song. Yeah.
Awesome. I look forward to hearing that. Definitely, and I look forward to that. Yeah, you're gonna send me a copy too. That's killer. And I will definitely check it out and put that baby up for you.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So that's coming up within the next month or two. So everyone keep your eyes peeled for the next EP release, which is Beneath the Surface. And the first single is going to be Calm Before the Storm.
Yes.
And that's actually a great way to start out an EP too. It's like, this is just the beginning, like you said, and that's just the intro for the album. Wait to the next song. That's very smart marketing, actually. That's very smart. You have my approval on that. Hell yeah, man.
Right on, Fran. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. So now I look down at my notes. I actually am old school and write everything down.
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't rely on electronics because I break everything.
That's all right.
I haven't broken my laptop yet. I've had issues, but I haven't broken it yet. So that's okay. So let's see, skipping past some of this. You did all that already. So now, you have released, this is going to be your second EP. Have you released any regular albums or singles that haven't been put on an EP?
No, we have not. Though me and the lead guitarist, which we're the only ones that he does all the music, I do the lyrics, as I said before. We've got maybe 4 or 5 new originals, but we haven't released those yet, and we've just got to work on that as a band, before we record those and release. So you
got to fine tune it.
Yes, absolutely.
I get that.
Yes.
And so do you plan on having those as singles, or are you going to make another album for that?
Well, I would love to do an album. And I've got to be honest with you, friend, I'd love to do an album on vinyl, because that's where I grew up on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So the next release for FUEL2FIRE, fingers crossed, hopefully, financially we can, is do an album, a vinyl album, 11 or 12 songs.
Yeah. So you want a full-length album.
Full-length album.
And what would hopeful start for that? Not release, but start.
Oh, haven't even thought about that. I've just
an idea for now.
It's definitely an idea. I'd say hopefully within another year, because like I said, we're just about to release our second EP. So hopefully probably in another year or so.
Okay.
Yeah. And this time we're going to work with a producer, just to because I we self-produced our last EP and we self-produced this EP. So for the next album, for the next recording, which would be an album, we definitely want to work with a producer.
And that makes sense. That does make sense,
Yeah. Hopefully Bob Rock lowers his fees.
Right.
We can work with Bob Rock.
Hey, you never know. And maybe you can get your daughter to sing on there with you.
Yeah. She'd probably go, "Oh my God, Daddy, it's too loud. I can't do this."
You know what? They got earplugs. And she could just put on that headset. She can tune it down for her and just belt it out,
There you go.
Share that stage with Dad. That'd be killer, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Look at you beaming when I say that. To your daughter. This is a goal. Make it happen, baby girl.
Yes.
Could be.
Well,
That would be cool.
I'm still trying to get her to listen to, you know, some of the rock songs because she knows, like if I sing Linkin Park, she goes, Daddy, don't you know that song? I'm like, yeah, I do. So she knows all the songs I sing. She just doesn't want to listen to them sometimes.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah.
That's too funny. You know what? And in 10 years, she's heard it so much. In 10, 15 years, when she's older, she's going to be like, I know this song. And she's going to start jamming to it, you know? And we'll have our canes and our wheelchairs going, yeah. You know? Some will be screaming Slayer. Some will be screaming Linkin Park.
Yeah. No, that'd be great, friend. No,
Dude, can you imagine a mosh pit with wheelchairs? Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Goals. Oh, we got to get that. We got to we got to start some shit just for fun. Don't even wait. Let's just do it. Start in a hospital. There you go.
Speaking of mosh pits, I went to Foo Fighters, and man, I was just getting through. Like that was the time when there was no one standing there just like this with their cameras, with their video phones.
Right? Yeah. Everyone actually used lighters.
Yeah. There was none of that. There was just all moshing, and it was just like. And then I said to my brother, I said, "Man, I got to get out of here," because I was getting thrown around. I loved it. But then I went out, and then they played Everlong, and I went, "No, I'm coming back in."
Even when you're not in a mosh pit, if you're within that 10-foot radius around it, you're still in it. You're still gonna feel it. You're still gonna get knocked around. So if you're trying to record a live video, that video's gonna shake. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yes,
but yeah, I love the mosh pits, and it's I'm really active on going live when I'm at shows. At least one song per band. And I'm dead on about being centered, but if that camera starts shaking, it's because I'm getting hit. So it's not me; it's the people behind me. Just I'm getting knocked around. I just keep going.
See that's the best. Like I gotta say, I'm biased, of course, but rock concerts, metal, hard rock, whatever you want to call it, they're just the best concerts to go to. They're just the best. Just the best.
It is. You can beat the shit out of each other and have a shot with each other right afterward. Nobody's a fighter.
It's so funny you should say. You're just like reading my mind a little bit, because like I was just about to say that exact thing, that you can just push people around and no one would and at least what I've experienced, the concerts that I've been to, no one would start a fight with you. Everyone would just just having a good time, and that's what I love about rock shows.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all. It's what it's about. Just releasing that beast and all your energy, and just lose yourself. Just lose yourself in everything: the music, the environment, the people.
Yeah. And that's you just forget about the whole world, and you're just there to enjoy the music and enjoy it with other people that enjoy the same band as you.
Right? Hell yeah. And then you got 20,000 people, if you get that big, or even if it's at 500 or even 20. All just losing themselves. It's a beautiful thing, It's awesome.
And I've always said that even if I'm performing in front of 20 people or 5 people, which has happened many times.
It's happened to every band. Every band has started out somewhere. Even the biggest names across the world, it doesn't matter. They've all started out small.
Yeah, and I've always said that even if I'm performing to that many people, say 20 people, I'll still give you the same show as if I'm performing to 5,000 people, which hopefully will happen.
Keep pushing and it will. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And you got to, because if you don't give it your all from day one, you're not going to grab people's attention. Stage it's not just about the sound or what the band can play. It's about what they can do to involve the fans, to involve the crowd. Can you grab their attention? Are they just going to stand there and just look bored? Or are they just going to actually get into the music? Stage presence does make a difference.
I mean, it absolutely does. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I've always said, as a singer, you've just got to grab these people and just grab their attention and make them part of the show. I love making the audience part of the show. I love the sing-alongs. I love all of that stuff. And I've always said that there's much more to just playing the songs really well. You've got to give the people a show. You're not just a musician. You're an entertainer.
Absolutely.
You're there to entertain. So entertain,
Yeah. So if you were to, from your point of view, if you were to look down and you saw that the crowd looked bored, what would you do to change that, to amp things up, to change it up? What would you do?
jump right in the crowd and go, "You're going to listen to me."
Now, what if you missed the crowd and you face planted? But you definitely would catch everyone's attention, though.
I definitely would.
Just keep singing.
Yeah. Well,
I want to hear you still hit those notes on the ground while you're grabbing your knee. Ah! And carry it. I've actually seen that, and it dumbfounded me. Where I've seen, bands, the singer, even if the fans caught them, sometimes they got dropped. And I've seen, the singers still just keep going, and I'm like, dude, kill it, fuck yeah,
See,
that's just keep going, just keep it. And some of them will limp back up the stairs,
That's rock and roll, man. That's
rock
and roll for you, man.
Yes, it is. It's just a bump. That's all it is. It's just a bump and a scrape.
Exactly.
Hobble your ass back up.
Nothing can stop that rock and roll attitude, man. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. That's what it's about. You're gonna get beat up. You're gonna get hurt, but keep smiling.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what else is coming up? You guys, you got an EP coming up, and that's you guys are doing the final mastering and recordings on that.
Well, that's already done.
It is done. So it's just a matter of just releasing that bad boy.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, cool. So what do you got coming up after that? Do you have any plans?
Well, we had a gig a few weeks ago, and we're just trying to get more shows. Which I got to admit, it's been very difficult to get shows.
I'm hearing this everywhere.
It's getting very difficult. I'm like, what is going on? I've emailed so many venues here in Sydney, and only one of them have gotten back to me. And I'm like, what is going on? Sydney's huge. There's like 5-6 million people here.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just astounded. I mean, we definitely want to do interstate shows. We want to start doing some interstate shows, hopefully in the next few months. But yeah, I'm hearing this a lot from some musicians. It's hard to get shows.
I'm hearing that a lot here. I'm hearing that a lot from friends in Europe, that are in bands. And a lot of it, unfortunately, is the kick in the ass because of COVID. With so many places that shut down. Right. So the places that were considered small and medium venues are now the ones that are getting the bigger names. So they're getting precedence. They're definitely getting picked. And it's making it harder for the smaller bands who are trying to get up there to get on that stage.
Right.
So then you got them hitting up the bars who, might not have a PA system, but it's like, you know what? It's a chance for us to play. It's a chance for us to play. And bands that are usually more on like the main support side or supporting or the main act are now stepping down to sidelines, just to be a supporting act, just so they can hit the stage, and it's like everyone's taking a step back because the bigger venues, the bigger bars are bringing in the bigger names, and it's a fight for you guys. And I've been seeing this everywhere. It's not just here. It's not just you. It's everywhere,
Yeah, well, I mean, I could certainly understand why they're taking the bigger bands, because they're going to bring in the audience, they're going to bring in the money.
Of course.
But it makes it hard, like you just said, for the bands that are up and coming, like our band and so many other millions of other bands. It makes it hard for us because we're not an established band,
right?
But they got to understand that at some point, all these bands that are huge now were like us.
Yeah, at some point, yeah. And they had to fight in a totally different way.
Right.
I mean, and that's very, back 30 years ago, 40 years ago, it was word of mouth, FM radio. I mean, there was no in between. There was no internet. There was no way to promote yourself. You were hoping to grab that record label. You were hoping to grab that producer's attention or, somebody on the bigger end, and then play places like Whiskey A Go Go, like out here, like bigger names to try to grab the right attention. And it was, and your managers and the labels did all of the work for you. Whereas now we have the internet and the bands can do all the promotions themselves. They can save a lot of money, but now they have a better chance at getting themselves heard. It's just a matter of getting to, how far the band is ready to push, how, getting to the right people that can help get your sound up, and how much is the band really now you guys are doing a lot more work, band wise, because now you got to do all the work, all the promotions, all of this, all of that, but it's given bands a better chance to be heard and to grow faster. And that's the beauty of the internet, but there's also some downfalls, but how do you think the internet has affected the music scene?
Um, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's affected the music scene. Like you just said, you touched upon, like, with the introduction of the internet, it's possible for you to get your music out to the masses without even touring, without even playing shows. You could just upload a video and then bang, someone in India, someone in America could hear it, someone in Europe could hear it. So with the introduction of the internet, I think it's been a really positive thing. Yeah, there are some negative things, but for newer bands, and just for, not so much for newer bands, even for like, bands that are established, to get their music out to the masses now is so much easier now with the internet.
Yeah.
So I feel like the internet has been a great thing for musicians. I mean, I can upload a video of FUEL2FIRE, and then someone, on the other side of the world can hear it. And I'm like, wow, man, that's great,
Right.
So yeah, I think, there are, like I said, there are some downsides, but I think the upsides definitely outweigh the downsides.
Yeah, I definitely think there's more pros than cons to it in many ways. Definitely a lot more pros to it. It gives everyone a better chance, a bigger chance. And a lot more artists are getting heard. I can imagine how many amazing musicians were missed, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and 90s before internet, before AOL, took an hour to download one page, But I can imagine how many musicians missed their chance because they didn't have that opportunity,
Right.
So it's definitely a plus. I agree with that too. So do you, what about a possibility of maybe not necessarily like next year, but whenever, like, would you be interested in touring?
Glad you brought that up, because yes, I'm trying to set up I haven't set it up to the fans yet, but I've set up a crowdfunding sort of GoFundMe type thing.
Okay. Yeah.
To do a 2-week US tour next year. Because we want to do a tour in the Midwest of the US. That's where most of our fans are. And I was told the Midwest would be great to do.
I'm just going to have to agree, partially because I'm here.
Right.
But I mean, realistically, realistically though, the Midwest is the center of everything. It's like we're right in the middle between, you got New York, you got Miami, you got, California, you got Houston, you got everything, everything's on the, the coastlines, but then in the middle of Chicago. And it's like that happy medium for everywhere to just come to and get that, get that music out, and it's, the Midwest, the bands here tour like crazy all over the fucking place, and they're always game for bringing in bands from all over the damn place, and bringing them with them,
And I have to say, the great thing about the US is that you can tour and then you can drive 3 or 4 hours and you're in another city.
Yeah.
Whereas Australia, we've got Sydney, we've got Brisbane, we've got Queensland, but it's a 10-hour drive.
Oh, wow. Really?
That's how far apart our major cities are.
Yeah.
And therein lies the problem. If you've toured here in Australia, Australia's huge, but our major cities are on the coastline and they're so far apart. Whereas in the US, we could do a show 3 hours and we could do another show in another city, and we're in another city, and drive another 3 or 4 hours, we're in another city.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty about the US is playing shows there. That's why we need to get there.
Yeah. So where in the Midwest would you like to be heading?
Well, geographically, I don't know what city
where everything's at. I get that. Yeah. Well, Chicago's in the northern Midwest. So we're right up there by Chicago's right up there, Wisconsin. We're at the far northwest.
Right.
So we got places that are, below us, like Kentucky, Tennessee.
Right.
Omaha, Nebraska, stuff like that. That there's a bunch of states, but they're all big. Right. They're all big on rock and roll. All big.
Right. And that's what I hear, like Nashville and
Louisville's huge. Of course,
Kentucky,
Chicago.
Yes.
Indiana. Yeah, it's just like everywhere in the Midwest. So you can't go wrong. It's all about rock and metal.
See, we need to come on. We got to do it.
Yeah. But you know what? That's a beautiful goal to have, and you know, you guys keep pushing forward. And the idea of the GoFundMe and you know the band's help, the fans helping, that can definitely help and help you know get you out there and get you up here.
It definitely can. It definitely can. And I think
you know, you just got to have patience, right, and you know, and perseverance, and you will get there.
Yeah, and never say die attitude. I think
absolutely. You know. And if anybody tries throwing some hate or some bullshit your way, remember, fuel to fire. Let's watch this bitch burn. And use them as the fucking propane. Throw them in that fire and be like, watch you burn, bitch. You're exactly what I need to keep me going, to make that flame blow up, you know?
I got to tell you, friend, careful what you say to a songwriter, because you
know, I get told that all the time. I know exactly where you're going with this. Everyone always says you need to write songs. The shit that you say, you give people ideas. You're welcome.
You are giving me ideas, because what you just said a second ago, you said something about adding fuel to fire, but you said let this bitch burn. That's a good line for a song, man.
Yeah.
That's a good line.
Absolutely.
I like it. But you know,
there you go. So just grab a pen and paper, start writing shit down as I talk.
Exactly. See, I mean, that's inspiration comes from, as Chester said, it can come from anywhere.
Absolutely.
And you just saying a line, like even sometimes my lead guitarist will say something. We're having a conversation, and he'll say something, and I'll go, "Well, you know what? Hang on," and I'll just write that down. And sometimes it'll turn into a song, or it'll turn into a verse of a song.
Yeah,
you know. But I have to tell you a funny story not funny story, but when we released our first EP, Balls to the Wall, we started sending around to radio stations and stuff. They thought that it was a cover song of the band Accept. And I said, no, but that's a good marketing ploy. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know a lot about Accept. I've heard of the band. I have to admit, I've never heard of the song Balls to the Wall. So I'm like, Balls to the Wall, I've never heard it. And I went online, and they got a song called Balls to the Wall, which was released, I think, in the early 80s or something like that. Yeah,
no, it did. When I first saw, you know, the name of the album, that was the first thing I thought of right away. Boom. You know?
Yeah.
And right away, that's what I thought of.
Yeah. And a lot of people thought that, and I thought, man, that's a good marketing ploy, because no one knows
what it'll pull them in. It's actually another, again, you know, that's like a little subliminal marketing, you know, trick that you didn't even know you were doing. You know?
That's exactly.
So that works out to your benefit, you know.
Yeah,
it's absolutely play that shit, do it.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of people thought that was a cover song of the Accept song. And I said, no, that's our song. You know,
it's, you know what, use it. It's working.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna grab people's attention and be like, wait, what is this? And then that's how they'll check you out. You know,
exactly.
It's, you know, all those, you know, read between the lines. They'll catch on.
Exactly.
That's smart. I like it. And if I can help with more, I got you. You never know. You never know what's going to come out of my mouth.
Right on. Thank you, friend. I'll be right down.
You're welcome, hon. So we got a few minutes still, but I want to get to know you a little bit better. I got some questions, you know, personal opinion kind of questions, and see how you think about certain things, you know. Let's see. Now, you guys don't have any music videos. Do you have any plans on making one soon?
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah.
Do you know what song you'd like to make a video out
of? To be honest with you, The Calm Before the Storm would be great to do a clip to. But then again, the song I wrote called In My Darkest Hour, which is about me and my struggle with depression. So definitely, there's a few songs on this EP that we want to do as film clips. Yeah, we want to do film clips for. Yeah. So
that's a possible idea for something in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be cool.
Absolutely.
Now you know where to send it if you once that bad boy's made.
Yes, I do. I do, Frank.
Okay, so in your personal opinion, what do you think it takes to be a great musician?
A lot of hard work, and just learning to develop thick skin, because especially in this industry, there's going to be some unscrupulous people, which I've met a lot of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're just going to try and tear you down. And if you don't have, if you don't have thick skin, you're not going to last 1 second because they're going to chew you and spit you out.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Perseverance. Definitely, you just got to have a never say die attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's all about determination, perseverance, working hard, and just believing in your songs, believing in what you have, and just believing in your talent. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
Yeah.
You know, if you got any haters, you're doing it right.
Exactly.
You know, if everyone agrees with you and you don't have any haters, who's really following who? Who's actually leading the pack? Are they telling you how to be? Are they telling you how to lead? Or are you running that shit? You know? And you're gonna piss the right, if you're doing it right, you're gonna piss all the people off along the way who are jealous, who didn't have faith in you, who are the ones who tried to knock you down in the beginning, but you kept going. Even if you did it by yourself, you stood up and said, fuck you. Watch.
I absolutely agree with you 100%, friend.
Yes, yeah. And let that fire burn, bitch. Yeah, use that heat as that fuel. It's all the fuel you need.
Exactly. And look, I mean, let's be honest, look at the band Nickelback. How much hate do they get?
Yeah. I got a lot of shit too. A lot of people loved my idea, but they're just like, you're not showing enough tits and ass. Wow. Don't need to. Watch.
Wow.
And that's not my style. Not everyone has to take their clothes off to show they have talent. Sorry.
Absolutely.
I'm a firm believer in that. I'm not against the ladies that do. More power to you. You do you. But I'm doing me. And mine keep my clothes down. Sorry, guys. Not happening. So, let's see. I think I already asked you that, so I'm not going to answer that again. What are some of your best attributes as a musician?
Oh, great question. Well, I think my ability to just take an audience and just take them on a ride. That's what I like to do in my singing and performing, because I work really hard on not just being a great singer, or I work hard on performing and just getting the crowd to enjoy themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important to me.
Absolutely.
I never want to feel like, hey, I'm on stage, you be quiet, you listen to me. I want you to feel part of the show. And every time I perform, I always have that attitude in my head, is I don't want to be just, hey, I'm the singer, you got to listen to me while I'm singing. I love people, involving people. That's why I love sing-alongs. That's why I love, like you said before, if no one's listening, jump into the crowd and go, hey, I'll get right in your face and you're going to listen to me, Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And I agree with that. That's beautiful. Oh yeah, man. Okay, so being the best musician you can be for yourself, not just for yourself, but for the band. Where do you think you might need to improve to be the best you can be? He will be back momentarily.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I didn't hear that. I heard part of
it. You didn't hear? Okay, not a problem. No, it's okay. It's okay. To be the best musician you can be for not just yourself, but for the band. Mm-hmm. What are some things you feel that you need to work on?
I feel like just getting the band to connect with me is what I feel is, and what I mean is, like, I don't want to just be a bunch of guys on stage. Mm-hmm. There's got to be some interactions. There's got to be a lot of interactions between band members, between the drummer, between the singer, between the bass player, the rhythm guitarist, between anyone in the band. So that's something that I'm definitely working on with my band, is just not looking like we're just playing music, just looking like a band, if you know what I mean. So
anybody can look like a band.
Yeah,
it's how you work together.
Yeah,
to look beyond it, to work past that, to look past that typical image. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So that would be the main thing I would say, to be honest, the main thing.
I agree. So if you were to meet some aspiring new singers, what kind of advice would you give them?
Oh, work hard at your instrument. Really work hard at and be dedicated, and just know that if one door closes, if 10 door closes, 10 doors close, one will eventually open. You've just got to keep pursuing it, and that's what I would say to aspiring singers is like I said, work on your voice, work on your stage presence. Don't just what's the word I'm looking for? Don't just be introverted as a singer. You got to be extroverted.
Yeah.
You've got to take what's in here and bring it out there.
Right.
And that's what I would say.
So what kind of tips would you give to the aspiring singers to be able to do that? What kind of tips do you give advice for?
Sing in the mirror. Sing in the mirror and see how you look. I do a lot of that.
I would be mortified.
Well,
I'd be like, they say to open your mouth to get the sound out more, and I'd be like, with a microphone, I'd be thinking something totally different as a female. I'd be like, okay, I don't ever want to look like that again.
Well, the good thing about singing in a mirror is you see yourself how you're performing.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of that. And so that's what I would say to aspiring singers is, and the other thing I wanted to say is be yourself. Don't try and be like anyone else. Unless you're in a tribute band, of course, you're trying to be someone else. But if you're in an original band, if you're an original band, you just got to be yourself. And when you're learning a song, learn it. Don't try and sound like the other singer, because you'll never develop your own original voice if you do it like that. Yeah. Learn the melody, know it, and then do it your own way. Put your own personal spin on it.
Yeah, create your own sound.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, your own image, your own sound. It's what makes you. It's what makes the band.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
I get that.
And I would say, don't be afraid to just don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Don't be afraid of that. That's what I would say.
Yeah, sometimes you got to step on your own toes in order to go to the next level. Definitely climb out of that box. Find out what are you really made of. There's only one way to find out, by doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is some of the worst advice you've been given?
Don't pursue music. Don't pursue music, and I think, who said, what was the advice? Join a tribute band or join a band and try and be someone else. It's not so much I wouldn't say that's a worse advice, but for me, trying to be in an original band and trying to establish myself as an original artist, that to me, when people say, oh, you should join a tribute band, you should try and sound like someone else and be someone else, I'm like, no, just don't. No, it's not me. And no disrespect to anyone that does that. Right. That's fine if that's the path you want to take. But my path is, I want people to, when they hear my voice, they go, that's Ben Albert. I know that voice. That is when I know I've got something unique and original.
Which is very true. You want to stand out. You don't want to sound like anyone else.
No.
There shouldn't have to be a question. You want to know, this is who I am. Yeah. And you will be known. Yeah.
And some people have said, man, you've got a very unique voice. And it didn't upset me, but I went, at that time I wanted to sound like this person. I wanted to sound like that person. But then I thought, I got it more and more over the years. And I thought, that's great having a voice that's different, because people go, oh, wow, what? So I love that. I love when people say that to me.
Yeah, no, they definitely got to stand out. There's so many singers out there, no offense to them. A lot of amazing artists, doesn't matter what genre they're from, but some of them do sound a lot alike.
Oh, yeah.
And the only thing that sets them apart is the music in the background, and it's hard sometimes to be able to tell who you're listening to is, that's why people be like, who is that? Who's that singing? And you'll say like 10 other artists, but the one that it is,
Right.
so I get what you're saying with that,
Yeah.
yeah. So, let's see. So do you have any, you said you got some shows coming up, right?
I don't have any shows booked right now, but I'm trying to
that's right. You said you were trying to get some, you're having issues. Australia, get on it. Sydney, Fuel the Fire,
Yes.
man. Get this man on stage. Get that voice heard. Do you hear me? Sydney. Don't make me come down there. I'll swim, I think, maybe. I might drown, but I'll try.
You heard it first from Fran. Come on, Sydney. Come on. What the hell's going on?
Right?
Yeah.
So, you know what? It's been amazing. I hate to cut this short. I can keep going with you. It's great.
Yeah, me
too.
But,
I really appreciate that you made this time. I know, we're 15 hours apart, and I know, the band, unfortunately, they got paid, they had to work, and they unfortunately, hopefully we're able to pop in here and there and catch it.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you reaching out to me, and I'm glad I got to meet you and got to, hear some of your music, and I'm definitely looking forward to your next EP release, which again is coming out within the next month or two, and that's going to be Beneath the Surface. So everyone needs to keep their ears peeled and their eyes open and check this out. And you're also going to be hearing some of their music coming from the Savage Ladies page also, because they will be sending me some links, and I'll be happy to get that out there for you too.
Yes. And I want to say this has been so much fun. Thank you so much, Fran, for this interview and promoting my band. I want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome, Ben. Absolutely, hon. Absolutely. So if fans wanted to reach out to you, check you out, buy some merch, where can they find you?
They can find us on Bandcamp. They can find us on Facebook. We've got a Instagram. We've got SoundCloud and Reverb Nation.
Again, everyone, it's Fuel to Fire, and it's all one word with the number 2, not the word, number 2.
Yes.
Fuel to Fire, exactly how you see it on the little banner on the bottom of our interview right here. You see that exactly where it's how it looks, and they're from Sydney, Australia, and everyone needs to keep their ears peeled for this. Again, Ben, thank you so much. It was awesome meeting you.
Oh, so definitely nice to meet you too, Frank.
Absolutely. Definitely look forward to talking to you soon again.
Yes.
All right, everyone, have a beautiful Sunday night. Everyone in Australia, have a beautiful Monday morning and lunch. And everyone, mad love and respect.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Fran.
You're welcome. Peace out, everyone.
Right on.